What up, and welcome to another episode of the unofficial podcast of the National Football League, the world-famous and critically acclaimed 5-6 Kings podcast. I'm David Bream. With me, as always, Braden Bullard. Braden!
David!
Don't cut me off. Don't cut me off. How are you, man?
I'm good. A little bit of a scratchy throat. You might hear it today, but other than that...
Yeah, it was really fun showing up to your house, and you're like, I'm not feeling too good. I'm going to make myself some tea because I don't feel so good. But let's strap in. Let's watch House of the Dragon and then record a podcast on it, man. I'm stoked.
No warning.
Real fun to just walk into that. He's wearing a fucking robe. He's making himself some tea, and he's like, I don't feel so good. I'm like, great, man. Yeah. I'm pumped.
Yeah, and
he couldn't figure, he's like, it's going to take 24 hours for us to be able to go live on YouTube. And then he started being like, I looked it up. It said only on the phone.
I mean, it did.
No, it didn't, dude. It did. You've read it wrong, all right?
Maybe I did.
That is what happened.
Could've.
You've read it wrong. It's always been 24 hours. You waited until today.
I mean...
So we're not live.
You would think...
Happy Monday. The day after House of the Dragon. Which, you know what George R. R. Martin calls it? I'm stoked that he calls it this.
What does he call it?
He's not, like, fucking with it. He's not, like, trying to shit on it. Calls it Hot D.
Are you serious? Are you fucking kidding me?
I love George R. R. Martin.
Bro, like, it just, that warrants why South Park makes fun of him.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
But, like, Hot D?
Yeah, but George R. R. Martin's doing all right.
Yeah,
I don't think he's worried.
Yeah. Oh, no, he's not worried. But, yeah, that's good for him.
Hot D. I don't want to talk about anything else. Just programming update, guys. We're not doing 2 episodes a week. My mouth was bigger than my abilities. Braden's starting a new job. I don't like talking about work on here, but I recently got promoted. Just our schedules are very off right now. We got to get used to this, and adding a second episode a week just does not feel doable right now. Maybe if House of Dragon blows up, we're getting thousands and thousands and millions of downloads, and people are like, we need more content. Fucking figure it out.
Oh, dude. We're gonna figure it out.
But to the like 45 people who listen every week, thank you. I appreciate it. And for the next 10 weeks, it's going to be a weekly episode of House of Dragon. So, kick back and enjoy.
Fuck yeah. And congrats, David.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Congrats on your new job.
Oh, thank you.
House of the Dragon premiere episode. I thought it was fucking great.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very, like, a lot of cool shit happened, and I like a lot of the characters, and it set the table for, this is going to be a fucking wild season.
Yeah. I'll definitely have a couple things to say, like, trying to look a little too much into it, but I think they did a very good job at, like, setting up, especially when it comes to the story without giving anything away, like, right off rip.
If you're listening to this, we're giving shit away.
Okay.
But yeah, don't beat around the bush. Guy, spoilers for Season 1, Episode 1, House of the Dragon. If you haven't watched it and you plan on watching it, don't listen to a fucking podcast.
Stop.
Don't watch a fucking YouTube video that says House of the Dragon, Season 1, Episode 1 reaction. And, like, don't watch that and then be like, what the hell? They gave it away.
You have been warned.
And if you've clicked on it at this point and, like, you've gotten through all of this and you still listen, it's on you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
So, basically, they kind of start, or they end this episode, in a sense, with the way that they ended the second to last season, or might have been third to last season. They're just, like, picking it up and taking it, instead of, like, doing a very similar story to how Game of Thrones was, they're picking it up, like, kind of later, in a sense, with, new characters. This is set, 175 years?
173 years
173 years
before Daenerys was born.
So they're touching on, like, what I feel like is a story that you don't see in Game of Thrones that you kind of wish you did because of the way that they end up killing off.
I know, you're talking in riddles right now, man.
Well, it's kind of hard when I don't have the names. So for...
If only you like had this pulled up and told me I got this here, so we have all the names.
Yeah.
If only you had a screen like that.
Yeah, so Princess Targaryen is who I'm really talking about.
That's not her name. Her last name's Targaryen. Come on.
But how do you say that, bro? Come on. Rhaenyra? It's Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
It's a cool name.
Yeah.
It's a cool name. But yeah, so they essentially make her
Princess Targaryen.
She is now on the seat of the Iron Throne.
She's the heir. There's a king. Her dad is still alive. He's the king. He names her the heir at the end of the episode.
Oh, I thought they made her queen.
She can't be until he dies.
Oh, okay.
As long as he's alive.
Which is what I was thinking.
Yeah, she's the heir to the throne.
Okay, that's what. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so I just feel
I don't think she'll ever sit on the throne because I think Daenerys was going to be the first, or I guess Cersei was the first queen.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't. I could be wrong, but I don't think she ever becomes queen.
And I think you might be right. One thing that I would say to that is that the whole dragon, just in 173 years, the fact that like dragons became a myth, maybe history got a little swayed is my only point. So maybe she does become queen and history just isn't that well.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
so dragons weren't a myth 173 years ago. Everyone
they had the
everyone
skull.
knew they existed.
Yeah. Well, I think they were still a myth to some people besides
people just believed they were extinct. Like fucking dinosaurs.
Okay.
You're a fucking moron if you're like, I don't think dinosaurs ever existed.
Well, I don't think
the dinosaurs were ever real. Like, all right. What the fuck are we talking about?
I think certain houses that got to see him, and then I think like in certain areas for people who never saw a dragon, they somewhat thought it was like because they never saw it, you know.
Yeah.
But I just feel like they are able to touch on this story in a way that they weren't able to in Game of Thrones, and they're like picking up in a way where they're giving us a story that's not the same as Game of Thrones. Yes, there's all these similar houses. Yes, there's dragons. Yes, they touch on the dead. But they're taking it. They're starting this season off. Okay, my bad, bro. They're starting this season off kind of like how they ended Game of Thrones. Obviously not the way they ended it, but the way that, you know, we imagine seeing Daenerys on the throne and like kind of seeing her progress like on the throne. We didn't really get that too much. And they're kind of making it seem like we're going to see that with this.
Not really. She's kind of like Daenerys had a claim to the throne. She has a claim to the throne. She's the heir. Daenerys had to go kill to get it, but we haven't seen her. Like, she's not the queen.
Yeah, but the way
she's the heir, and there's the fucking brother who's not gonna be cool with it.
True.
There's no way if the show ends. So he has a younger brother. He's got a fucking name, Daemon. I think his name is Daemon.
Yeah.
Seems like a badass.
Yeah.
He runs the City Watch, and like night one of the City Watch, they just went in. They cut a dude's dick off. They beheaded a guy. Like, it was the gory, like, fuck you, we're badasses scene of the show.
Yeah. And they did a good job at not having just random violence without having any meaning to it.
He made a point. He's like, I'm now the commander of the City Watch. We're going to restore order to this fucking city. Let's go. And he's got men who worked under him who really respect him. They're like, this is our fucking leader. So, like, it's going to be interesting. At some point, they're going to full-on clash, and he's going to have men behind him who want to fight for him.
Yeah, it seems
that's
like
going to be fun.
They're going over the whole dynamic between the Targaryen family. Rather than, I feel like when we first started in Game of Thrones, we had multiple houses where we're like, who's going to, I don't know, maybe not end up on the throne at that point, but they're setting up a lot of different houses. This is more so kind of solely on the Targaryen house.
Yeah, well, it's the Targaryens are in power, and we know from when Game of Thrones picked up that they're in power for another 173 years from right now.
They're the House of the Dragon, David.
So it's kind of like we saw at the very end, they showed the Stark family, whoever the head of the Stark household was back then, and he pledged loyalty to whatever her fucking name is, Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
Pledged loyalty to Rhaenyra, the heir to the throne. Like, everyone had to come. The Baratheon did.
Baratheon, yep.
Yeah, we didn't see the Lannisters. We saw a Lannister banner
Yeah.
at the jousting tournament,
Mm-hmm.
but we didn't see anyone in the Lannister family talking, which was interesting.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That is pretty
'Cause I figured
interesting.
they showed the other two big families and they didn't show the Lannisters, so I wonder if that's going to be a thing.
Yeah. The majority of the episode took place like literally in
King's Landing.
King's Landing, yeah. And they did a really good job, I feel like, at like making you feel in the world in King's Landing, which they've always been able to do very well. But they did change like some things, just some architectures of kind of like the. And did you notice one other thing around King's Landing?
Say it.
Just straight ocean.
Yeah.
Straight ocean. So over those 173 years, it must have been like a fucking drought or something.
Yeah.
You know, because it was like straight dirt and like a desert essentially. Not a desert, but it kind of looked like just dirt when they were
Yeah, well, there was
invading
land
King's
around
Landing.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And King's Landing, it looked like just like a fucking island.
And they said there's 10 dragons right now?
Yeah.
Wow. So we saw 2 or 3?
I think just 2.
Just 2, right?
The third one at the end. 3.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we
okay,
saw
okay.
3.
So I did. What did you think about the dragons? Because they were like they're so different. Not so different, but like they definitely have some differences than the dragons that we saw in Game of Thrones.
So it's cool. The one she was flying was gold.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, there was the one at the funeral, and then his at the end was just red.
And lengthy as fuck.
Yeah,
Like it wasn't like stocky like Daenerys was.
Yeah, it was very cool how different the dragons all look. They were different
Yeah.
colors. Yeah, that's interesting. It's like, are there gonna be fucking mega dragons? All that shit. Are they gonna be fucking massive? It's
Then they had they were showing like an orgy where essentially Daemon is trying to announce that he's going to like
so let's backtrack there.
Okay.
Yeah. So before there's a queen, it's king and the queen. The king's name is Viserys, and the queen's pregnant, and he's like, it's a boy. I'm gonna get an heir. We're gonna hold a tournament. Everyone's gonna come to celebrate the birth of the heir. She shares earlier in the episode that she's lost 5 kids in the last 2 years, like trying to give him an heir.
Must be rough.
She was like, this needs to be the last one, Viserys. Like I can't keep having kids die in the womb. And so she's going into labor the day of the tournament, and tournament was cool. It was a jousting tournament, and we saw like that's where we got introduced to the Baratheons again. And there's the dude, I forget the family, but the dude, he's gonna end up
They're
with Rhaenyra, or at least trying to be with Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
He jousted against Daemon Targaryen and beat him, and then Daemon like got off the horse and grabbed the sword. He's like, "Fuck down here, let's go." And then they fought, and Daemon knocked him down. It was like back and forth, and then Daemon threw his shield at him and knocked him down, and then just stood over like, "Yeah, are you not entertained?" The guy wasn't dead. Like, he got up and fucked him up.
I saw that coming a mile away.
Yeah, and like stepped on his arm, and like he had one of the fucking the chain with the spike balls. Best weapon ever.
Yeah.
Not the most practical,
No.
but so sick.
So cool.
So sick. He had that thing, and he's like, fucking yield, man. I will knock your fucking head off. I don't care if your brother's the king. And he's like, all right, I yield. And then he goes like, all right, let me help you up. He's like, fucking hand out of here. And then he walked over to Rhaenyra, and he was like, oh,
Sick.
I'd love your support. And she tossed him some flowers, because I guess that's what you do,
Yeah.
as one would. But so the queen is in labor, and the maester comes to the king, and he's like, you're going to have to make a decision. We're not going to be able to keep the queen alive and save the baby.
Apparently the baby is like upside down and like tangled in the umbilical cord, I think he said.
Yeah, so they needed to do an emergency C-section.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is
They don't have
it was 173 years before Game of Thrones, or it was 173 years before Daenerys was born, which was Daenerys was like
another 30 years.
she was so Emilia Clarke was like 30. Daenerys was like 16 when Game of Thrones started.
No, yeah, but when she died, how old was she?
I don't know. But I'm just saying when Game of Thrones picked up,
Okay.
and it didn't look like they can perform an emergency C-section then. with another almost 200 years of medicine and stuff evolving. So, like, he's like, we're going to cut her open. We're going to get the baby out, and she's going to bleed everywhere, and there's just nothing we can do about it. So, like, what are you going to do? And the king's like, fucking do it. And it was bananas.
Dude, it was hard to watch.
They went, like, there's...
Like, we watched some dude get his dick chopped off. This is, like, way
nothing
harder.
on that.
Yeah.
There were nurses holding her down. She was fucking screaming. She's
Fucking
like,
hands going into her belly.
Don't do it. And then the fucking doctor dude. What's his fucking deal? He's holding it up and he's like, I'm going to make the first incision now. Why is he narrating it?
Yeah.
Who's he doing that for? It's not a hospital. There's no one that's like, yes, doctor. Like, is there a student? I think when you're doing this to when you're murdering a queen, you tell the student, I'm not going to narrate it for you. I just want to be in and out. This is going to be messy.
It's going to be terrible.
It's going to be scary.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be in and out.
Yeah.
But he does it, and then the baby died, like right after it was born. It was a boy, and they named it Baylor.
And they're holding it.
Which, I don't care how they're fucking holding it.
No, but
they named the boy Baylor.
But I'm saying, though,
They named the boy Baylor, and does that name mean anything to you?
No.
They mention the name a lot. Baylor the Blessed. When Ned Stark is executed, he's executed right in front of the Sept of Baylor.
Oh.
Yeah, so Baylor, that is, I don't know if it's, I didn't read the fucking book, so if you're watching this, you're like, you fucking idiot. It's in the fucking thing. I didn't read it. I'm sorry. I watched Game of Thrones. We never met Baylor. He sounded great. Baylor the Blessed. That's a great name.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sounds like an amazing person. I don't know if it was they were naming this baby after Baylor the Blessed or
that's a good point.
if Baylor the Blessed, who
Now that you say it,
there
yeah.
were statues of Baylor. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
It was a baby that lived for an hour and then died. And that's what the story grew to, and it's like Baylor the Blessed.
I think maybe we'll find out. Maybe over the show.
Yeah, I'm hoping like that's interesting. Or it doesn't matter, and like people are like, no, you're dumb.
But this
I
shit
hate you guys, and they've logged off at this point. They're like, fuck these guys.
Yeah. But this shithole narrating doctor is like holding the baby and like goes to the King Viserys and he's like, it's a boy. It's like almost like excited kind of thing. I mean, it wasn't like that excited because he knows like King Viserys is like heartbroken
we said congratulations,
yeah,
boy.
and then like starts noticing that the baby's like coughing, choking or something.
Yeah, the baby's like, like it's like
Yeah.
it's gurgling. He's like, well, this babies ain't supposed to make that sound.
Some sort of doctor he is.
Yeah.
And then we just get a quick cut and it just like changes to them on just logs of wood, just getting ready to be.
It's not them on. It's her. Oh, I guess those two.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I thought you meant like everybody.
No.
Like they're all on logs of wood. I was like, no, it's just the dead bodies.
And Dracarys, both of them.
Yeah,
I guess that's what
the
they always
princess.
do.
Yeah,
They always burn the.
yeah. I just think they was like, fuck these people.
Well,
like it was.
But,
you
like-
burn the bodies because. And at the end, I love that they brought this up at the end,
Huh.
and they did it when whoever the Stark guy in this show is. We and like you guys are like, he does the Stark guy in this show. We didn't fucking mean. He said his name, and that was all.
it's
He
very
said,
quick.
I will say it was Eddard.
Yeah.
I, Eddard Stark of Winterfell, pledge loyalty to House Targaryen and the rightful heir to the Iron, blah, blah, blah. I love, at the end, so, like, he's letting her know, you're going to be the heir to the throne, you'll be the queen, and here's the deal. Here's what you got to know about all that shit. He's like, there's these zombies, and there's going to be a winter, and you're like, oh shit, this is wild. He's like, in King Aegon, he had a vision that there needs to be a Targaryen ruler who unites the people of Westeros against the dead to fight it. And you're like, fucking, that's Daenerys. That's
Jesus.
sick.
Look
That's
at that.
sick. They knew back then. Who saw that coming?
Right?
Yeah. I loved the Iron Throne.
Oh, with all the fucking swords, dude.
So Game of the Iron Throne, it's always been made
Cool.
of. It's always made of swords.
Well, yeah, the seat.
Yeah. The swords have never. It's surrounded, but like the actual chair, the swords have never been an issue until now. Which I love that it was. We see like the king sitting on it, and he does that, and he cuts his hand because it's made of fucking swords.
No duh.
Of course, he cut his hand. Like I love that. Like it never was a thing in Game of Thrones, and then for this, they were like, what? The thing is swords. People should get hurt sitting on it, and he fucking does. And he has a thing in his back that's infected. He's probably gonna die before the season's over.
Probably from a sword sticking out.
Yeah, like that's what he said. He's like it's from sitting on that fucking Iron Throne all these years.
Jesus.
Yeah. And like they're like, we gotta cauterize it, and he's like, you fucking cauterize away, let's do it. But he has an infected wound on his back. They made a point of showing that.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna be nothing.
You think they would like dole down the swords if they're gonna make a fucking seat out of it?
It wouldn't be as badass.
That's a good point.
Would not be as badass.
But they're sticking like all out of the ground and shit. It's like, where can you even walk up the fucking steps on that thing?
You saw the path.
I did.
There was a path.
But
Come
it
on.
wasn't even like a straight
You make
path.
it sound
It's like,
ridiculous.
you gotta go through like a fucking twist and turn.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't want people.
That's a good point.
The king is sitting on that. You don't want people just running up.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
So
I really hope someone has a very random, weird, tragic death on that thing. They just trip and fall, and that's why they got rid of all the swords. They're like, that dude was really important.
that'd be great. There's his younger brother. He has issues with the Hand of the King. The Hand of the King's daughter.
Yes.
Let's talk about her for a minute.
Yes.
She's very close with
Alicent Hightower. Is that how you-
Hightower. Yeah. The Hand of the King's name's Hightower. His daughter's Alicent. She's very close to Princess Rhaenyra.
They're like best friends.
So it was interesting because the mom talked about when she was pregnant. She was like, "This is the battle all Targaryens must endure." And Rhaenyra was like, I'd rather do anything. She said some way of saying she never wants to have a kid. And then the camera showed Alicent. I think we're going to get young children lesbians at some point in House of the Dragon. How old are these actors?
Well,
Alicent and Rhaenyra.
I totally thought
Rhaenyra looks like she's 12 years old. Alicent looks a little older. Alicent might be an adult.
Jesus, born 2003.
03, she's 19.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Time goes by fast.
Yeah, that's Alicent. Go to Rhaenyra. Yeah, Rhaenyra, if she is over 14, I will be surprised. She looks so young.
Yeah, she does look very young. That doesn't help me.
I mean, Google Emma Darcy age, or if you can get it here.
I totally thought you were gonna be like, that's the other daughter. Is what I thought you were gonna say. Don't worry, I got it. She's fucking 30. Oh my god. Dude. She's 30. Can you imagine? Like that's like a pedophile's dream, dude.
No, it's not. Pedophile wants her to be 14. Pedophile doesn't want a 30-year-old who looks 14. The pedophile wants a 14-year-old. Pedophile's dream isn't to have sex with an adult, Brayden. Pedophile wants the child, wants the innocence.
Oh my god.
That is, but guys, look, so like that picture, yeah, she looks 30 on the nose. Look up Princess Rhaenyra, House of the Dragon. Like, she plays like what looks like a teenager, and she looks every bit of a teenager. Like, I am shocked she's an adult. I would have guessed Alicent Hightower older than Princess Rhaenyra.
Oh yeah, same.
All day.
Yeah,
all day.
that's wild.
Bananas.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
dream.
I guess good for her, because like, what are you gonna be at 50? You know, you're gonna finally look 30.
Maybe.
You know, like,
maybe.
good for her.
Yeah. Wow.
Dude.
No, but I mean, like that person looks 30.
No, yeah, in this picture,
they just did a good job with the actress.
Yeah. I think it was also like makeup. I think like making her like right here, she doesn't look as, let's say, pale as she does there. I think like something with the paleness makes her look younger. Does that make sense? Right?
Maybe they fucking did it. She's
it.
supposed to be young.
Yeah.
They made it work.
Yeah.
I think that might be a thing.
But there's a big dynamic between Hightower and King Viserys' brother, Daemon.
Yeah,
And that's what they're kind of growing in this episode.
So, like, Daemon at the jousting tournament, he showed up and he gets to pick who he goes against. I assume because he's a fucking Targaryen, and he kind of goes through and then comes back and points at this one guy. And then the guy makes the announcement and he says, blah, 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 Hightower, son or eldest son of the Hand of the King, William Hightower. And you're like, it's fucking perfect.
Dude, he literally goes after his son, like, right away.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's fucking great.
But then he almost loses.
But
And then
he does.
he does kind of like a cheap shot.
But no one was like, it's bullshit. I would do that every fucking time.
That's what I'm saying.
He took out the horse.
Yeah.
And then dude went fucking face first on the ground. He was bad. They took
yeah.
his face was fucked up.
Oh, and his armor, Daemon's armor, fly. Fucking fly, David.
I mean, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. I mean, that armor looks like indestructible. You'd feel like such a badass in that armor, David.
So, I mean, he got knocked off by the dude who's going to have sex with Rhaenyra.
Yep.
Rhaenyra.
The 30-year-old?
Make sure it's Rhaenyra, though. Because I don't... Saying that out loud doesn't sound like that's the name.
It is Rhaenyra.
It's Rhaenyra?
Yep.
Okay. That dude knocked him off, and he like knocked him off, and he hit the pole in the middle and was dragged across it, and then fell off the horse and got up and was fine. Like,
Yeah.
he took a bump that looked like he should be just fucking out,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Let's go, get off the fucking horse, let's go,
Let's do it. Yeah, he was amped.
yeah."
I loved it.
That guy then, so now back to the orgy you're at. We didn't get to hear him say the words, but he made a toast.
Dude. David, you got to say what happens when he makes the toast. What's like the main eye line of this shot?
I don't, you laughed and I didn't see
You
it.
didn't see it?
No.
David, bro. Sorry. So this
You laughed when it happened, and I didn't know if you were just
I
excited.
swear to God, dude.
Because you could tell he's going to do something ridiculous.
This
and I
is
didn't
one
know
of the
if
most
that's what you were
ridiculous
laughing.
shots I've seen in between
was
Game of Thrones and House of Dragons. He's giving his speech.
House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon. He's giving his speech, Daemon, looking at everyone that's in this fucking like orgy room. And everyone is like looking at him, towards him, and we're at the back of Daemon. And we see right to the left of Daemon, so right in the middle of the shot. And there's a fucking spotlight right on these two people. And this woman's just getting butt fucked or something from behind. And they're both like, they're like in it, and they're turning like this, and they just stay in it, like full on in it, just like, huh? And they're turning around, like turning their head around, just like looking at him. And and there's a spotlight on them. So really the only people we're seeing right now that stand out is these people having sex naked in the middle with a spotlight on them, just like looking at them, like, and they don't move. They're not like, oh, he's giving his speech, let's stop fucking and like, pay attention. No, they just like stay in it, like full on thrust in, just like, okay, yeah, he's speaking.
Yeah, dude, that's because that's the leader. He's going to say something awesome.
Oh yeah,
He's
just makes it that much better.
He's probably going to say something that makes you climax.
That's David.
Like, I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
He is about to, this is about to be the best orgasm I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, and they know Daemon. They're
Yeah.
like, Daemon wants me to.
Yeah, he's not going to be like, stop fucking.
Hey, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
If he was going to say that, he would have already.
I would have liked it too if they did. They tried to separate, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
He's like, hey, get back in there.
Yeah,
So he made a toast to Baylor, the heir for the day, which is great. This is the day of the funeral, the day that his brother's wife and son, like the day that they put them to rest.
watch them burn.
And that's so Daemon had to come to the Iron Throne because the Hand of the King was like, hey, I got some not awesome news for you, man. Your brother was at an orgy, and he made a toast mocking your dead son and wife, and was really kind of just celebrating the fact that he's now going to be the heir to the throne. So he had to come into the Iron Throne and meet with him, and he's like, did you say it? And he said, we all grieve in our different ways, brother. And that's not a great answer. And he's like, I fucking protect you, all right? None of these motherfuckers in your council. And he's not wrong.
He's not.
They kind of like, like when Tywin Lannister ran the small, because he has a small council.
This is way different than the Lannisters. Like,
But like when Tywin Lannister was running a small council meeting, there was no, Tyrion would fuck with him.
yeah,
Nobody else would.
and that's what
Nobody else would question a fucking word Tywin Lannister said. There was a lot of arguing in the small council meeting about the heir. Like, day of the funeral, they had the king go in there, and they were arguing with the king back and forth, and then he just yelled. He's like, my wife and son are dead.
Yeah,
I'm not going to fucking sit here with the crows who came to pick their fucking bones. I'm out. And then he walks out.
Like,
But it's clear... Like, when he yells and, like, takes control of the room, he has it because he's the fucking king, but he does not just organically have control of the room.
and now that you say it, and the more I think about it, I think that's one thing they could have done maybe just like a little bit better or more on.
They got 10 fucking episodes. This isn't a movie.
No, I know.
They got a whole season to do it.
But I'm saying because they make King Viserys, besides murdering his wife, just seem like not that bad of a guy. Seems like he's done a pretty decent amount for Daemon, and it doesn't seem like Daemon would or has a reason to feel the way he does. I mean,
Daemon wants to be the king.
No, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
And also, like, I don't think...
There's that much bad blood or anything like that?
No, murdering his wife. I want to go back to... it was intense. It was gory what they showed, but
the doctor did say...
But he was given the option... You got to pick either the baby's going to be born or it's going to die in there. You got to pick between the two of them. It's not awesome.
Well, he was saying that she was going to probably die too, I think.
That's yeah, he even said he was like, and it's not a given. Like, the doctor was pretty much like, we can either go save this baby and your wife definitely dies, or the baby definitely dies and she might.
Yeah.
And he was like, so your pick. And he's like, yeah, I mean, like, fuck.
He's like, you got to make the hardest decision.
He's like, go save the baby. He's like, save the babe. That's what he said. He said, they're coming to get the babe, honey. And then, yeah, like, when they did it, they fucking pulled the pillow out from under her.
And just, like,
someone grabbed each leg and they just pulled her down the bed. They were not graceful about this.
Yeah.
It was fucking crazy. And the doctor walked up holding the knife. Like fucking with her.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah. That, like, the belly is so big... that if he just didn't hold it up that high...
If he just kept it down and then went in there and did it...
Yeah. Probably would have been easier for her.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been as fun to watch.
No.
No, it would have been fucking quick and you'd be like,
But you want to know what I noticed? When he said, I love you, she looked at him in a way like as if she's almost like never heard that from him. And then that almost caused her to ponder like why he said that. And then she just got fucking scared.
Yeah. I don't want to read too much into that.
True, but...
Yeah, but it could have just been... It's her husband. They've been married for a long time. She could tell something was off.
No, yeah.
He was bringing a weird energy, and she's like, fuck, what's going on?
And he kind of said, I love you, like, as if she's going to die. So,
yeah, and she's like, well, stop it. What's happening? What the fuck is happening right now? Like, she started panicking, man. She can't do anything.
Yeah.
She's been in the middle of labor. Like, she's exhausted. She's in pain. And there's like 8 people in that room.
And if you think about it, dude...
Her.
I mean, I don't know what this would kind of correlate to in real time, but can you imagine labor back in the day like that, where there's no like anesthetics? So.
I don't know. Back then, they had like Milk of the Poppy,
okay,
and all of that shit. Like not in, I don't know, real life, but in Game of Thrones,
yeah,
they had painkillers that they would give people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, do you not remember that? Like, Maesters would always have...
Well, I do remember them saying that they were giving her drugs for the pain, but, like, she still felt that... like, there was no numbing...
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it cut into her. I'm sure it wasn't pleasant. Yeah. She was screaming. It sounded awful.
Oh, yeah. I mean, digging through, like, the organs and shit, bro. Like, that must be fucking...
But, so back to Daemon in the throne room, and that's his brother said... So he's sworn to marry someone at the Vale. And I liked it. He said, like...
He was pissed off that his brother was always kind of casting him away rather than keeping him by his side.
But I liked what Daemon said about the Vale. Who, in the Vale is Jon Arryn, who we never met in Game of Thrones, but he was the Hand of the King, who died episode 1, and that's why Robert went to Winterfell. tell Ned Stark, he's like, hey, I need you to come be the hand of the king. I don't trust anybody else. Let's go. He was the Lord of the Vale. He had the son. It was Catelyn Stark's sister, and that's Tyrion went. That's where Tyrion met Bronn.
Yep.
The trial by combat, and Bronn threw the guy through the window door, and then Littlefinger became a big deal at the Vale. That's the Vale.
That was a crazy shot.
The guy
I mean,
going
not
through
shot, like
the hole in
yeah,
the
but
sky.
just the fact that like they were somehow that high up.
Yeah.
So mind fucks me.
There you go.
I think
That's
about
a
it.
mind
Like,
fuck, baby.
how did they get so fucking high, David?
Mountain.
Oh, they just. Oh,
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right,
Cliff. It was just built off a cliff.
and then just
And they just had
okay.
just one room. It's not like they were like a thing in the sky. They weren't Thug Mansion, you know.
Shit.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
So he's like, you need to go to the Vale, but he was like, at the Vale, the women are so ugly that you'd rather fuck goats or something like that. He shit on the Vale.
Yeah, he
I
had some
want
good
her.
lines.
Damon's gonna be the man of this show.
Oh yeah.
I think he's gonna be the best part, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Right now, he's gonna be awesome. He's just crazy. His brother seems like a nice, kind of calm, cool, collected, easy going, and Damon's like, no, I'm gonna cut that dude's dick off. We're restoring order in the King's Landing.
Now.
Don't point at me. Don't you fucking point at me.
Okay. All right, but so what do you think is going to happen with Hightower? Or let me actually ask you this:
Damon's gonna kill him.
why do you think Hightower sent his daughter to King?
He wanted her to fuck the king,
Yep.
and he wanted,
Yeah.
That's how he's like, all right, I'm gonna stay in power. My daughter's gonna fuck the king. He's gonna get. So he told his daughter. I mean, did you think there's a chance? I didn't think that. I was like, oh, he just wanted her to
Read the
go
book.
check in on him. Yeah, fucking. He had Allison come, and he said, I think you should go comfort the king. And she's like, okay. And as she's leaving, he's like, wear one of your mother's dresses. Like, and then she goes, but so he's
It's those type of lines that you just miss so much.
yeah. He's like, the king's gonna name his daughter the heir. That's what this is all leaning towards.
Hightower's probably thinking he's going to kill the other daughter.
Yeah, he's like, I get my daughter to go. She's young.
Yep.
She's great childbearing age.
Mm-hmm.
She'll have a son. That'll be the heir, and that's how my fucking family stays in power.
There you go.
Like, it's great.
Yeah.
It's genius. It's fucking genius.
So is do you think Hightower is going to be somewhat similar to? Is it
I got Littlefinger vibes.
Littlefinger? You know what I almost said when I knew it was wrong. I almost said Littlefoot. Like Land Before Time.
Littlefoot.
I was like, I know it's something little. Little finger, little foot. Fuck.
Yeah. I think he's gonna.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be fun too.
Oh yeah.
I still think Daemon.
He seems like a manipulator, kind of deceiver.
Yes. I will be surprised if he lasts as long as Littlefinger did, though.
Me too.
I think he might make it this whole season. He might not.
I do like all the
see Daemon
characters,
killing him.
but I wonder if they're going to be able to kill off as many and add in as new, as many new characters as they did in Game of Thrones.
You don't need to.
You don't need to.
Yeah.
And it kind of seems like they're not going to do that with this. Like I feel like they're going to play it out a little bit longer, not like too fast, not too slow, but I feel like they're going to play out these characters. You know what I'm saying? That sweet spot.
Yeah.
I feel like they're just going to play it out a little bit longer for all the characters.
Yeah, but it's like you say that, but the Queen died episode 1.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so it's kind of like but also like that's not like Ned Stark dying.
Yeah.
That's not 9 episodes of us thinking the show's going to revolve around this person, and then they kill him. You're like, oh, fuck.
So I guess my biggest wonder is who, other than their own house, their own Targaryens, is going to be the biggest threat.
So they talked about I'm spacing on what the triarchy.
Mm.
They kind of touched on it in the beginning. There's some people called the triarchy. It's 3 groups that banded together, and they're out there somewhere.
Isn't that
They made a point in the first small council meeting. They talked about them. I assume, if I had to guess,
one of them's like the pirates, right?
if I had to guess, Damon is going to go elicit them, and they're going to be his army.
And then wasn't the pirates? Didn't they say it's ran by the same family that ended up?
I don't know.
Remember the guy
that
that fought Cersei's, or not Cersei, but the Cersei's brother that they were in love with, like the incest.
Jaime?
Yeah. Remember Jaime fought that dude out of the water in like the last episode?
The dude from Lucy.
Yes.
Scarlett Johansson's
Yes.
boyfriend, Euron Greyjoy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they were talking
the
about
Greyjoys?
I think they might have said it was the Greyjoys at some
Okay.
point.
Okay, and so the Greyjoys, we know from Game of Thrones, were loyal to the Targaryens.
And they had fleets.
Because that was a big thing. Jaime Lannister, when Robert's Rebellion was going on, Jaime Lannister led people against the Greyjoys and fucked them up. Oh, Jaime Lannister, no. Because Jaime Lannister was the fucking... Yeah. Greyjoys are not... I mean, when the rebellion happened, they weren't. Because Jaime Lannister was the Kingsguard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Fuck the Greyjoys, though. Right?
Yeah. Fuck
Yeah.
them, bro. Fuck them. So you got any predictions, David? Anything that comes to mind that you think's gonna happen?
I think Viserys... What's the king's name?
Is it Veneris? No.
It's not Viserys. I think it's Viserys, but I
Viserys.
could be wrong.
Yeah, Viserys. Yep, Viserys.
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 I don't think he survives past this season.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll die at some point.
Yeah.
I don't think...
I think it's hard to say for Hightower because of that dynamic between Daemon and the king and kind of the whole family.
Yeah.
Maybe the daughter lives on. Maybe the father dies of Hightower.
So I don't think him and the king would both die. I think one of them makes it to season 2.
Okay.
The king dies. Hightower might be involved with the king dying. I could see that. He could hedge his bet and think, oh, Daemon or whatever. I don't want to make any ridiculous predictions. I'm very excited about what they're able to do with the groundwork that they laid.
Me too. I think they did a good job at also not showing too much. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Yeah. Like,
There was plenty like this.
but there's so much more that they can so easily expand on and be able to take it. And I think they're doing, in a way, I almost think they're doing that on purpose so that they can somewhat control. Do you think they have this full story done from start to finish? Because you know how in Game of Thrones they were still rewriting as seasons went on. Like, do you think they know the ending right now of like all the characters? Maybe not the characters know, maybe not the actors, but do you think the writers know, how many seasons, when this is going to end?
Maybe. I think George R.R. Martin knows exactly how he wants it to end, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it might all... I don't know, like, the books could have finished here.
Okay.
With this. This story could be wrapped up with the books.
True.
And I think George R.R. Martin knows where he wants the story to go. I don't know if the HBO writers...
A part of me thinks that they are doing this somewhat season by season. Maybe they have a good generalization of where they want the show to maybe end or kind of go to. Just because I feel like it's kind of part of the way that they're made this first episode, because it's like it's so tailored around the Targaryens, and there's so much that they can expand on. It kind of leads me to believe like, oh, they might just make this whole season around the Targaryens and around maybe one or two other kind of conflicts or scenarios.
I think the whole show is going to be about the Targaryens.
No, yeah, totally.
I don't think it's going to be... Because think of just the name. The name Game of Thrones implied there was going to be multiple different people going after something. going
and then
after the
this
throne.
is called
House of the Dragon leads me to believe that no matter how many seasons it is, it's gonna pretty much just stay with the Targaryens.
I agree.
Yeah, which fun, interesting.
No, yeah.
Yeah, and there's plenty of other people in the city they can fuck around with. Daemon's going to the Vale. I don't think it's gonna be like. I don't think we'll go to the Wall very often. I'm sure there will be an episode where they go and we see the Night's Guard. I don't think that'll be prominent. I don't think and I could be wrong. I don't think Winterfell. I don't think they'll be over for a while.
Yeah.
Over where Daenerys was. I think it's gonna stick with the Targaryens and stay in King's Landing for a lot of it.
That's what I think too. I think maybe in like the other seasons they might expand outside of King's Landing, but I still think it's going to be centered around the Targaryens, but I think they'll start to branch out.
Yeah. So they have to leave King's Landing. Like Daemon
totally.
left at the end of this episode. He's going to the Vale, we think, but we're going to see wherever he goes.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to follow Daemon. It's not going to be another family.
Yeah.
It's going to be Daemon.
Now,
I'm excited.
Now, do you think that there's going to be any dragon on dragon fights? Do you think there's going to be any other houses with dragons?
I don't think there will be other houses with dragons. Okay. Yeah, I'd be very surprised.
But do you think that there's going to be like dragon on dragon fights?
Maybe if Daemon,
maybe even a wild fucking dragon.
So if I don't think there will be wild dragons.
Okay.
Maybe.
I love playing hypotheticals.
I think Daemon will. Daemon is going to go to war with whoever is in charge at King's Landing.
Yeah. Daemon
left on a dragon.
Yeah.
That leads me to believe Daemon will be bringing the dragon back with him when he wants to take the throne.
I agree.
So I think we'll get dragons fighting
each other. That's going to be fucking sick.
Yeah.
Him coming in with his dragon helmet. It's pretty cool. He had like fucking red ribbons on the ears and shit. Badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, that's episode 1. We'll see you next week for episode 2, guys. Very exciting.
Dude.
Go to HBO Max. If you liked Game of Thrones, I'd be surprised if you don't like where this is heading so far.
Yeah, same here.
We'll see, but who knows? It's a long season. They might shit the bed.
And let's, remind ourselves, this is episode 1. Like, they're setting up everything. Like, we can't be spoiled to get everything in episode 1, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like they did a great job of making you care about the characters.
They laid the groundwork for what looks like it's going to be a great season.
Yep.
Yeah. So, guys,
I can't wait to do it with you, David. And
fucking touch me.
And all of you.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all next week. And hey, if Braden doesn't figure it out, we're going to start next week with me open hand slapping him in the face as hard as I can.
Well, now it's YouTube's problem because
it's not. It's on break. Guys, the threat's been issued. We'll see y'all next week, hopefully live. Peace out.
Bitch, I'm from Palm Beach County, that's where I'm from. When niggas get